Turani, where entertainment keeps getting hotter.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this show do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of informational and entertainment purposes only.
जब हमारे परिवार के बुजुर्गों की सेहत और देखभाल की बात होती है तो घर पर इन होम केयर वाला ऑप्शन सबसे बढ़िया है। अनलॉक का पेस प्रोग्राम एक ऐसा कन्वीनियंट एंड पर्सनलाइज्ड ऑप्शन है जिसके जरिए हमारे बुजुर्ग घर पर हमारे साथ रहकर यही देखभाल और सेवा का लाभ उठा सकते हैं। अब चाहे वो घर पर रहे या अनलॉक वाले पेस सेंटर में आए, उनको वही डेडिकेटेड एंड प्रोफेशनल केयर मिलेगी। अनलॉक ने बुजुर्गों की सेहत को अपना प्रायोरिटी बना लिया है। और जानने के लिए 1855-308-0195 पे कॉल करें। That's 1855-308-0195.
Top of the morning, Bay, with Good Morning Bay.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's Good Morning
Bay.
Good morning, Bay. आज सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते,
नमस्कार,
वनक्कम,
नमस्कार,
खुशामदीद,
अस्सलाम वालेकुम,
सत श्री अकाल,
అందరికీ వందనము,
जय स्वामी नारायण,
जय श्री कृष्ण,
जय जनेंद्रा।
हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोलते हैं याली मदद,
मोला अली मदद बोलते हैं सारे फीजे मतलब ईसा बोला परजान। हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे। मैं से फालतू बाबा
and of course myself फालतू रानी लेकर आपके लिए एक और drive time that's going to make it totally exciting and totally मस्तानी।
To the Banjana, quick look at what's happening in the road. सस्ते का हाल आपको हम लोग देंगे टोटल सस्ते में।
It's time for the Kathmandu traffic update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
Well, the good news, Banjan, is not much of traffic incidents happening on the roads at this point in time for us to report for you guys to expect some delays there, Banjan, so it's good, right? But there's a little bit of traffic hazard on 680 northbound, north of 580 west and Pleasant, and we're slowing down traffic heading towards Hayward. So watch out for that, Banjan. Drive very carefully. And weather-wise, look at it, Banjan. It's going to be a sunny day in the morning. Probably some clouds are going to come back towards the evening, but tomorrow's going to be cloudy. The afternoon's going to be Saturday, of course, going to be clear, Banjan, because Saturday we have our event of that. So it's going to be nice and clear for you guys on that. But right now, Banjan, a quick look at what's happening with the news. आपके लिए पेश करने वाले हैं हम लोग, Banjan. The news updates actually is brought to you by the news desk of Media Mahima. Stay tuned right here. Come on, Radha Fatoni, take it away.
This is the morning edition of Good Morning Bay right here on Radio Dihari's Bunijan that you can catch up if you missed some portion of this on our YouTube channel, Radio Dihari's. The jury in the Kyle Rittenhouse murder trial began its second day of deliberations on Wednesday, attempting to reach a consensus on whether to convict or acquit the teenager for killing two men and wounding a third during racial justice protests last year. The court official confirmed that the jury of 7 women and 5 men from Kenosha, Wisconsin, started discussing the case. The jury deliberated for about 8 hours on Tuesday. It sent 2 notes to the judge, neither giving any indication of the substance of their discussions on the first day. A judge sentenced the U.S. Capitol rioter QAnon shaman to over 3 years in prison. A federal judge on Wednesday sentenced, if you remember the horned headdress wearing man, the QAnon shaman, to 41 months in prison for his role in the deadly Jan 6th attack by followers of then President Donald Trump. Prosecutors had asked U.S. District Judge Royce Lamberth to impose a longer 51-month sentence on Jacob Chansley, who pleaded guilty in September to obstructing an official proceeding when he and thousands of others stormed the building to try to stop Congress from certifying President Joe Biden's election. The sentence matches one Lamberth imposed on former mixed martial artist who filmed punching a police officer during the violence, who was sentenced last week to 41 months in prison. The two are the stiffest sentences handed down in any of the roughly 675 riot prosecutions. Rambert said that he believed that Chance Lee, who's 34 years old, had done a lot to convince the court that he is now on the right track. In the Ahmaud Arbery trial, Bandajan, let's tell you that the defense is actually saying that Ahmaud Arbery could have asked the defendant for help. A lawyer for one of the three white men charged with murdering Ahmaud Arbery when the black man ran through their mostly white southern Georgia neighborhood told the jury on Wednesday that he could have called out to his client for help, but he did not. William Roddy Bryan, 52, was the last to join the pursuit of Arbery on the afternoon of Feb 23rd, 2020 in Satilla Shores, a leafy cluster of homes outside the small coastal city of Brunswick. Bryan recorded the cell phone video of Arbery, 25, being killed with a shotgun after the two defendants chased the jogger in pickup trucks and cornered him. The video caused outrage when it was published more than 2 months after the shooting. Bryan, along with father and son co-defendants Gregory McMichael, 65, and Travis McMichael, have pleaded not guilty to murder, aggravated assaults, and false imprisonment. They say they thought Arbery might have committed a crime before they chased him and were trying to make a legal citizen's arrest, and they face life in prison if convicted of murder. U.S. President Joe Biden on Wednesday said there was mounting evidence of anti-consumer behavior by oil and gas companies and asked Federal Trade Commission to dig deeper into possible anti-competitive or illegal conduct in the market. Biden in August asked the FTC to investigate possible illegal conduct causing the spike in gas prices, which are contributing to surging inflation, but told FTC Chair Lina Khan in a letter on Wednesday that further action was definitely needed. The FTC has the authority to consider whether illegal conduct is costing families at the pump. I believe you should do so immediately, he wrote. In other news from President Joe Biden and his Build Back Better agenda, the U.S. House of Reps will have enough votes to pass President Joe Biden's Build Back Better bill after the Congressional Budget Office publishes a complete cost estimate for the plan. Democratic House member Dan Kildee told CNN. The $1.75 trillion proposal aims to expand the social safety net in the United States and boost climate change policy. The CBO anticipates publishing a complete cost estimate by Friday, November 19th. In local San Jose news, the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office announced on Monday that a 36-year-old woman from San Jose was arrested on suspicion of immigration fraud. Jasmine E. Sanchez turned herself into the Sheriff's Office on Saturday and is awaiting a future court date on suspicion of crimes that include grand theft, theft by false pretenses, and violations of the Immigration Consultant Act. The Santa Clara County resident who claimed they had been defrauded by an immigration consultant in San Jose contacted Sheriff's Office Notario Fraud Unit in July. The unit investigates allegations of immigration service provider fraud against the immigrant community of Santa Clara County. After launching an investigation, detectives learned that the couple had paid Sanchez approximately $5,000 to complete a citizenship and visa application, but over the course of 4 years, the application was never submitted to the USCIS. And that is the reason she has been arrested. And San Francisco is suffering at the highest rate of car break-ins compared to even Atlanta, DC, Dallas, and Los Angeles. An NBC Bay Area report rode along with undercover police officers and interviewed top law enforcement officials and obtained and analyzed court and police records to find out why car burglaries remain the most prolific crimes in the city of San Francisco. To the extent that they're saying right now they're at breaking point. Governor Gavin Newsom announced yesterday, Bandajan, actually he announced that he wants people to get the vaccine. In the lightly vaccinated Central Valley, Governor Newsom pushed hard for people to get vaccinated and pushed back at those who tell you to do otherwise. I recognize the fear that many of us have as we enter into the winter, as we enter into a season where, if past is prologue, we should anticipate an increase in cases. The governor spoke at Kings County Grade School, pointing to the area's low vaccination rate and the high rate of COVID-19. Most medical experts agree with the need for higher vaccination rates, but there's no agreement that a winter surge has actually begun. And in news from the local San Jose City Council, Bandajan, they voted yesterday to approve zoning changes to Coyote Valley, protecting the rural land from development. The 314 acres that sprawl across Santa Teresa Boulevard in South San Jose has been a battleground between developers and environmentalists for decades. Recently, a Texas-based developer wanted to build warehouses on the open land, which the company said would create jobs. Mayor San Lacado tweeted, "San Jose remains committed to safeguarding our most precious resources for future generations." That's pretty much what I have in national and local news, Alto Baba.
All right, so wonderful, Banjan. You want to take a quick look what's happening in the world, or just want to go to Gane Kira?
Let's go to Agane Kakira, please.
All
and then
right,
we'll come
Banjan, we're going to go to Gane Kira, which actually talks about how you got to be always looking at yourself, Banjan. Always make sure you are first class. Yeah, Banjan? I believe that you are first class. You are the best version of what you are. Nobody else compares, Banjan. Don't compare with anybody else, but compare with your previous self if you want it.
मेरे होठों से धुआंधार निकलती है जो बोली, जैसे जैसे बंदूक की गोली। मेरे तेवर में है तहजीब की रंगीन रंगोली, जैसे जैसे हो ईद में होली। मेरे होठों से धुआंधार निकलती है जो बोली, जैसे जैसे बंदूक की गोली। मेरे तेवर में है तहजीब की रंगीन रंगोली, जैसे जैसे हो ईद में होली। मेरे जीवन की दशा थोड़ा रस्तों का नशा, थोड़ी मंजिल की प्यास है। बाकी सब फर्स्ट क्लास है, बाकी सब फर्स्ट क्लास है, बाकी सब फर्स्ट क्लास है।
And Banjan, Bagis are first class kya? And yes, let's go and take a look at what's happening on the world. Faldoni, please take it away. We are waiting to hear what's happening on the world.
In an update that with regard to the migrant crisis near the Belarus border, Bandajan, Angela Merkel from Germany has spoken to Lukashenko a second time this week. Germany is reporting higher arrivals from Belarus via Poland. At least 8 migrants are dead in the tug of war between the east and the west. New crisis has emerged at the border, putting the EU in a bind, and Ukraine reinforces its borders with Belarus at this particular point in time. The EU has sent aid to migrants at the Belarus border. Germans and Austrians are lining up for shots as COVID cases are beginning to soar across Europe. There's been an increase, an uptick in the number of cases being reported, Banjan, as coronavirus infections have been soaring across Europe and governments are imposing restrictions on the unvaccinated, figures showed on Wednesday. Germany and Austria have been among the lowest rates of vaccination in Western Europe and are now the epicenter of a new wave of the pandemic as winter grips the continent. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson last week said he was cautious about rising cases in Europe, warning of gathering storm clouds of infections. The United States is saying that they are not engaged in formal arms control talks with China. The White House National Security Council reported on Wednesday, downplaying contact on the issue following a meeting between the two countries' leaders. US President Joe Biden and Chinese leader Xi Jinping agreed this week to begin to carry forward discussions on strategic stability. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said on Tuesday in reference to US concerns about China's nuclear and missile buildup. And in the meanwhile, Banija, let's go on over to India and see what's going on there. with Indian and Chinese troops remaining forward deployed along the frontier in eastern Ladakh for the second successive winter, India is further bolstering the logistics supply and stocking to the high altitude region. Towards this end, a joint airlift exercise called Operation Hercules was undertaken by the Indian Air Force and Army on Monday with 5 C-17 Globomaster 3 aircrafts along with IL-76 and AN-32 planes from Chandigarh and other places to Ladakh. The aim of the high-intensity airlift was to strengthen logistics supply in the northern sector and to augment winter stocking in the operational area, said an IAF officer. So, wow, it looks like India is prepared for a conflict on that front. And an update from Chennai, Bandajan, with regard to the flood situation there. Chennai admin declares a holiday for schools and colleges on Thursday in view of a heavy rains forecast. And in news from India about the cricket match in the first T20, Surya Kumar Yadav and Rohit Sharma star in India's 5-wicket win over New Zealand. And finally, a Mumbai court has declared IPS officer Parambir Singh the proclaimed offender in the extortion case registered against him and some other police officers in the city. Singh had last attended his office in May this year, after which he went on leave. The state police had told Bombay High Court last month that his whereabouts were not known. The crime branch of Mumbai Police, which is probing the extortion case, had sought the proclamation against him, saying that the IPS officer could not be traced even after the issuance of a non-bailable warrant. That's pretty much what we have in our Good Morning Bay today. But we'll be back tonight live on the Pam Pam Show at 5. Don't forget to tune in then. Have yourselves a first-class, wonderful Wednesday.